Right. So I think for me, finding out that anyone speaks your name in rooms you're not in or thinks of you for opportunities when you wouldn't have thought of it for yourself, I think is such a huge compliment. And so when Cassandra let me know she was open to nominating me for this and wanted to see if I would be up for it, it was just so made me feel so special, made me feel so honored, and really, was a huge compliment in and of itself, even, no matter where the nomination actually led. Yeah, so I'm definitely naturally a very competitive person. So when you tell me that I am potentially going to have an opportunity for something, then I, pretty much am going to go all out no matter what. So Cassandra was willing to nominate me, but I did offer to help with putting together anything that she needed. I don't expect her to know my entire life story. I don't expect her to know my entire resume. And so I basically compiled as much as I possibly could for her to make it as easy as possible. And then she put a few, extra kind of sprinkles in there, added her own perspective, did some extra legwork as well. But the two of us working together, it really was a pretty easy and simple process. I think this would be, if I'm thinking back, this is the first national award I've ever won. And so I've been very fortunate to win some awards here in San Antonio, some other things, industry, wide in PR and marketing. But to my knowledge, if I can think back, my career is getting long enough now where sometimes I forget things that have happened, but I'm pretty sure this is my first national award. And so certainly I think it's really easy to start to feel like, okay, I feel like we're competing in our local market and we're doing well and up to big things. But to be put up against, women across the country really felt like such a huge moment for us and milestone, not only to validate our experience, but just to also get to experience and go along for the ride of seeing what these other women are up to. And our top 10 class was incredibly impressive. Our top 3 class was very, very much qualified and experienced and inspiring. So just to even be exposed to those women as a byproduct of going through the nomination process was wonderful as well. Certainly, I think the entire evaluation process for this award really validated the fact that it's, well earned, well deserved, well vetted. The fact that they don't just hand it out frivolously, that they really do a lot of due diligence to make sure, who do we really truly feel like is the best fit. That's probably the reason why I was pretty sure I wasn't getting it, because they were being so so diligent in making sure, the whole process was just such a well laid out and planned thing that I thought, this is amazing to be a part of, but there's no way I'm going to actually be, the one selected. So yeah, I definitely appreciated the fact that not only were other women business owners, a part of the process, but also having Bank of America be a part of it from a corporate sponsor perspective, and having, the understanding that they were also a part of vetting some of the candidates was really cool to feel like, okay, even on a corporate side, having folks evaluate us and find us deserving was really cool as well. So I think for me, the whole process of finding out top 10, then top 3, then, the finalists being announced there at the gala, or the winner being announced at the gala, was just a series of progressively larger heart attacks for me. It was just like, I cannot believe this is happening. This is absolutely insane. And for me, a really cool moment was that our last, round of Women Business Owner of the Year, we had another San Antonio member, Arlene Siller, make it to the top 3. And I have so much respect for Arlene as a person and as a businesswoman. So to know that I was even in the same, airspace as her to be a top 3 was already like, this is amazing. Like, I can't even believe that happened. And then the moment at the gala, it's such a funny experience to be sitting on stage and having most of these women not know who you are at all. And obviously they're not going through your application and seeing all the things that you have submitted. And so it's almost like you have to like resell yourself again to this public crowd of like, okay, I really want to make sure that they understand like, what on earth this girl did to be up on this stage. But that's such a hard thing to do when you're not used to, bragging about yourself and speaking about yourself in that way. So then, to hear the other two women I was on the stage with speak about their experience and what they've done, you can ask, my other San Antonio members that were there with me. I came off the stage and was like, this was a great experience, but I am so happy for either of them, whichever one gets it. I'm 100% just up there waiting to find out which of their two names are they going to call. And so that's probably when they finally did, say first they started saying a little bit of my bio. And that was when I really realized, oh my gosh, they're talking about me. And that moment was probably the closest to an out-of-body experience I've ever had in my life. It was just like, all of a sudden you feel like, what? And, I hear my, San Antonio members yelling and screaming and they're getting excited. And then the whole rest of the night, you just felt like a rock star because everybody's, coming up and, oh, congratulations. Oh, that was great. So yeah, I can't imagine I'll ever win an Oscar in my life, but that felt like in a moment where, oh my gosh, I feel like I, have just won the biggest award on the planet because it was just so well done and so well executed. So, as part of the nomination process, Cassandra, my fellow San Antonio member, was gathering, her thoughts and writing a letter of recommendation. But if you know Cassandra, she's also the type to go, pedal to the metal when she does anything. And so she went above and beyond and totally unbeknownst to me, had been asking my other fellow San Antonio members, hey, would you write a few words about Akilah? What do you think about her? Why do you think she's deserving of this? And again, I have no clue that any of this is happening. And I just happen to be having, in the midst of, working on this application and we've got our deadline and blah, 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 totally, out of the blue, I'm having a really tough day. I think we had a client issue or something was going on. And I was really, feeling that sense of like, what am I even doing? Why am I even doing this? Am I the worst, business owner in the world kind of thing? And I distinctly remember I was actually after work running to Target with my daughters to grab something. God only knows what we were grabbing. And I get a message from Cassandra and she says, hey, wanted to run this by you. Just make sure you're good with everything that everybody has said. And it was just paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of different women saying incredibly nice things. And I just started crying. I was just in the middle of Target, just started crying. And it's just one of those God moments where there's no way Cassandra could have known that I really needed that day. And so even if I had gone on to make exactly last place in this competition, that moment alone and having that, feeling of support from my sisterhood, would have made it 100% worth it.